Today we're looking for filming locations in Las Vegas for the 2001 movie The Mexican. It stars Julia Roberts, Brad Pitt, and James Gandolfini. And it's directed by Gore Verbinski, who has a movie in the theaters called... what the hell is it called? Good Luck, Have Fun, and Don't Die. The movie starts out with Brad Pitt getting into a car crash, and the guy that he runs into happens to be a mobster, and that mobster has somebody in the trunk. And because the mobster's in jail, Brad Pitt has to work for the mobster until he gets out of prison. So fast forward to 5 years later, and Brad Pitt has one last job to do, and somehow he screws it up. So because he screwed up that job, he's got to do one more job. And that conflicts with his relationship because he was supposed to be done. Him and his girlfriend were supposed to move to Vegas, his girlfriend being Julia Roberts. So they get in an argument. She goes to Vegas. He goes to do the last job. That last job is to go retrieve a gun called the Mexican, which is supposed to be cursed. And so things happen to Brad Pitt along the way because of the cursed weapon. There's other mobsters trying to get Brad Pitt because they think that he has stolen the gun for himself because it takes him so long to retrieve it in Mexico. So they go after Julia Roberts, who you see driving down the freeway, the 95 freeway to Las Vegas. She passes a sign called the Bell's Factory Outlet Mall.
You've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin'.
Which is now the Las Vegas Premium Outlets, which is where I'm standing. So the scene cuts to inside the building, and that's where we're going to head now. After the driving scene, the movie cuts to inside of the food court, and you get this establishing shot. And what you can see now is that the merry-go-round is completely gone. The metal columns are also gone. They would have been about where that fire alarm is there, and when it came down to the ground. And James Gandolfini would have came in from that direction. And then the well-dressed black man would have came in from this direction, and the other column would have been there right where that fire alarm is on the ceiling. Julia Roberts would have been sitting about in this area here. And then if I pan over, you can see where there's a column. And you can kind of see that same column. It's a little bit different now. It had the black tile on it before. But you can also see above her head, you can see the black and white tile from... It's not the stir-fry 88 in the film, but that's what it is today. One thing that's interesting is that every shop in here is different now, but there's still a pretzel store. I don't think it was Wetzel's Pretzels in the film, but same kind of eatery. Past Julia Roberts is the corridor for the bathroom, and that's where she would have went. And then James Gandolfini comes in after and shoots the well-dressed black man, and then they go running out the front of the building.
Are you ready, Boots?
Now, Sam, as I was saying.
Done.
So here's a layout of the mall. This would have been the food court. And Julia Roberts would have been about right here. Here's the bathrooms, and then Let's see. So she would have come out of the food court. They would have ran all the way down this hallway and then out the front entrance, and this is where the parking is. So the layout doesn't really make sense, because if you're trying to make a quick getaway, why wouldn't you just ran straight out the front? After the bathroom scene, James Gandolfini and Julia Roberts come running out these doors here.
Help me! Help me!
And then he spins around. He says, "Where's your car?" And she points out here to the parking lot, and you see a green Volkswagen Beetle parked right here where this gray Mazda is.
What?
Where's your fucking car?
So after James Gandolfini and what the fuck is her name? Julia Roberts. After James Gandolfini and Julia Roberts leave the mall parking lot, they get on this freeway here. This freeway is actually Summerlin Parkway. And so what happens is he almost hits a semi-truck, and so he has to scoot over to the outside lane and hits a bunch of cones.
Sir?
Julia Roberts is having a breakdown and says she's gonna be sick. So James ends up pulling over right underneath this overpass that's coming up here. You can see that sign there. It says Town Center Drive, Rampart Boulevard, and Buffalo Drive. So there's a shot of the green Volkswagen Beetle from about this angle, looking down as they start to get out of the car. See these lights here, they line up in the shots, and then the lights across the way, they line up as well. And then of course you can see the mountains in the background. And you can kind of see the bend in the road.
She told me, don't go. I don't want you on that highway alone by yourself. I said, it'll be fine, Mom. It'll be okay, but it's not, is it?
James Gandolfini and Julia Roberts were right here.